Hello, this is Darren.
And this is Paige.
And this is
Where's the Lemonade?
Where we talk about what happens when life throws you lemons.
Make some lemonade?
Maybe. Some weeks it's lemon squares.
Yeah, some weeks it's just lemons.
Yeah.
On today's episode,
We're going to talk about making your own lemonade when life throws you lemons.
everyone can do it.
Life can be difficult at times.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Say it ain't so.
Sometimes more difficult than others.
Like right now?
Yeah, like right now, and I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So, and this is really one of the reasons why I started the podcast, was to talk about what to do when life throws you a curveball, when life gets hard. Because we've gone through some pretty hard things in our lives.
We
separate
certainly have.
And together.
Yep.
So
we have. As most people do, right? Most people have, some tragedies in their lives. And how do we get through it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we both, in our early 40s, found ourselves divorced, so single with kids, trying to make ends meet.
Was I really that old when that happened?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, you were. You're 50 now, babe.
Why are you? This is like the third time you've mentioned this on the podcast.
I'm 52. It's a wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
50. You're just now hitting your prime.
He does not understand.
No,
we don't say women's age.
Oh, they all know.
Anyway, continue.
They would be shocked that you're 50 because how beautiful you are.
Oh, now there we go.
There,
that's right.
That's how we're supposed to do things,
better,
right?
Yes.
So I remember going up to that time when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I had my life all planned out. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Things changed. I mean, when I first started college, I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. Then that whole industry collapsed, and I became a software engineer. I wanted to become a biomedical engineer. That didn't quite work out, but I had some major goals in mind, not necessarily just my career, but, I wanted to be like debt-free by 30 and, have a certain amount of money by 40, everything you have planned out. I wanted a family, a certain number of kids. You kind of think about those things when you're a teenager, when then reality sets in and you have to make adjustments.
Yeah, that is true. I wasn't as much of a planner as you are. I never have been. I was a little bit, but like when I was a teenager, I was like, maybe I'll be a flight attendant, or maybe I'll do hair, or maybe I'll be a paralegal, or I didn't know where I was going to land. So I always knew I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to get married, but yeah, I kind of just floated around with all these different ideas of what I might do one day.
Right. So we all make plans, but then we both had a common plan, which was to have a family, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Right. It's the American dream. Have a family, own a house.
Yep.
Retire at a certain age, which
right.
we're going to never retire.
I know. That's okay. We'd probably drive each other nuts anyway.
Yes, we will.
So we'll just keep working our whole
We'll
life.
just keep working our whole lives. So that's kind of the plan that most people have, but most people don't plan to get divorced.
I don't know that anyone does. If they do, I think they're mentally ill. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense. But no, I mean, if you would have told me, let's see, how long have we been married? We've been married for 8 years.
Yeah,
I was divorced
8
for a year
years.
and a half. I'm sure. So if you would have told me 15, 20 years ago that I would be divorced, I would have said, you are off of your rocker. Like there's no way that will ever happen to me. I mean, no.
No, I was in the same boat with you. So sometimes life throws you a curveball, and the way you react is really important.
Sometimes there's like 10 curveballs being thrown at you at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for you had constant disappointment financially throughout your first marriage.
Yes. So I would be like, oh, let's, plan for this in 2 years. And then, there were just always these bombs set off, in our relationship and in our finances that I was constantly disappointed. So then I just stopped. I didn't have any long-term goals, or it was just today. Let's get through today. That's how I lived. And you've seen that with me. It's you want to sit down and plan these long things. Yeah. And I'm like, can we just talk about this week?
Yeah, you've gotten better at that.
I have gotten a little bit better, but it's hard.
Well, because you're a little gun shy, right? Because you used to have some plans, right?
And some goals.
And some goals, but because you were disappointed so many times. For me, it was, I plowed through goals and just worked really
you were
hard.
Like, check. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Right.
Everything that I had planned for was gone.
Right.
No house, family destroyed.
Yeah.
There were, without a job at the time, everything came crumbling down for me.
Right.
That's when I hit what you would call situational depression. It was pretty bad. You would have liked me better then. I was like, 30 pounds lighter than I am now.
Well, that was the profile picture that you put up.
That is absolutely true.
That attracted me to you.
I know. See, it works. So, honey, that's the goal. I'm still working towards that goal.
Towards that goal to get back there?
Yeah. Well, not the depression, but the weight.
The weight, yes. And you know what? You said that you were depressed for about a year, right?
Yeah, it was about a year.
And when I was getting divorced, I was going through obviously a really difficult time, and I got on some medication as well, because I remember talking to my mom one day and I said, I just don't want to do this anymore. I just can't keep going. And she said, you're calling the doctor tomorrow. You're getting in tomorrow.
It's a very insightful mom. My mom helped me out too.
Yep.
With that, saying, you got to do something. Right?
Yes,
you can't just keep going the way you are.
Exactly. Something's got to change.
And I remember I was talking to a counselor at the time, and they gave us, probably you the same, gave you lots of tips on how to change the spiral that you're in when things are bad, right? And for both of us, our lives were completely destroyed as we knew them.
As we knew them, yes.
Right.
That life, was set ablaze, but we had our fabulous children that we still had to be strong for and be there for. And I think that's what was getting me even more down, was because I felt like I wasn't there for my kids. I felt like because I was falling apart emotionally, I wasn't being a good mom for them. And that was making me spiral even more.
Yeah. Well, and that's what depression can do, right?
Yeah.
You feel guilty because you're not doing what you used to be able to do.
Right.
Helping the people that you should be helping.
Right.
It all kind of piles on each other.
Right.
But life doesn't always throw you those big curveballs. Sometimes there are small ones that you've got to learn how to work through. Because if you don't learn how to work through them and become resilient, then it becomes a habitual problem that then becomes really chronicle or clinical. What's it?
Chronic.
Yeah, chronic depression.
Oh, clinical depression or chronic, either way.
Yeah, all right. So that can be really bad.
Right.
Right, when you let those things get out of control.
Right.
And, people say, well, just cheer up. Well, it's not that easy.
It's not. Because we've talked about this before. I have what I think would be considered clinical depression, right? And,
it goes through cycles.
It goes through cycles. A lot of it has to do with the weather. A lot of it has to do with hormones. I mean, it's,
And it could just be a noise. It could be something you hear, smell, or even taste sometimes that might set it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times I don't even know. Like, you'll ask me, what is it that's making you sad? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just sad. But I've been pretty good for a long time.
Yeah. I've been very happy. Obviously, I hate seeing you depressed.
I know you do.
Right? Because it's an illness. Just like if you have diabetes or something like that, if you don't treat it, then it will overcome you. So you've got to do some things to help you out there.
You do. You've got to learn how to be positive, especially if you're depressed, right? I mean, especially. But no matter what you're going through, big, small, if it's something that's uprooting your normal life, you've got to figure out how to get through it.
Okay, so you found a great article about how to stay positive. And you and I both have had we've read a lot, we've talked to a lot of people about this, right, because of what we've gone through in our lives. But this one did a really good job at just laying out some ideas.
Right.
Right, so how to stay positive.
And I think a lot of these, you and I both did, we just didn't have them, written on a board telling us what to do. But how great would it be if you did have these on the board that, each day you could go, oh, yeah, I need to do that, and I need to do that to help me get through this.
Right.
So hopefully this will help someone that's going through a really difficult time, or if you're about to go through a really difficult time.
Yeah, it'll plan you for it. So that's why we named our podcast the way it is, Where's the Lemonade? Because you know what? Life is not always fair, and life isn't always great.
But I want it to be fair.
Yeah, well, too bad. That's what I tell my kids. And my wife, obviously, now, too.
No, I always say it's fair because it's unfair for everyone.
Yes,
That's
is
how
unfair.
It's fair.
It's
Even though
unfair
it
for everyone.
seems, it does seem you can look at someone else, right, on their exterior, and it looks like they've got everything going for them, right? You see those people and you're like, there's just nothing wrong in their life, and that's not
It's like
fair.
looking at Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook only shows you what
you see what you want to see.
This is what I want the world to think.
That's
My life
right.
is beautiful and perfect.
It's not true. And everybody has different things they're going through, whether we see it or not. And they may be going through small little challenges that may be horrendous for them. You know what I mean? Not everybody can handle the same things that...
No, we also don't propose that people just walk around Pollyanna all the time.
No, but
Right?
sometimes it is fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, sometimes it is.
It's fake it till you make it. So you kind of have to make those judgment calls. Am I going to fake it today, or am I just going to let myself wallow for a bit?
Yeah.
So
All right, so let's dig right in. So here's some of the positive things. Number one, be grateful.
that's big for you.
It is big for me. I don't know if it was my mom, probably my mom and dad that instilled that into me. And we had one of our kids that was a negative Nelly, which is Julianne. When she was younger, she was a serious baby, never smiled, always looking around, just ultra serious, right? And as a toddler and adolescent, she was the same way. Everything bugged her. She was just kind of negative in everything.
Right.
So we started something called Gratitude Bucks.
And how
So-
does that work?
Well, we just printed out some pieces of paper, but the kids loved it, right? So poor Julianne had 3 older brothers that tortured her a lot too. So that didn't contribute positively to her being a positive person. So the Gratitude Bucks, when they did something that showed gratitude, when they said thank you, or when they pointed out that they were happy, even doing mundane things around the house, then we would just reward them a gratitude buck, and we kept it in a folder. And then at the end of each week, we piled up the gratitude bucks, and then they can use it to buy something at the end of the week.
Gotcha.
In like a little toy box that we had. And Julianne took this to heart. She was a pro at it, right? And so it changed her. I would say Julianne is now probably one of the most positive people you'll ever see.
Oh, yes. So positive.
So we actually did something that worked.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As a parent, when you see that, you're like, wait, that worked? Right? And even my older boys, they all remember gratitude bucks.
Right.
So,
We did it a little bit when you and I
yeah,
got
we
married.
did. When all 7 kids were here, we
Yeah.
were like,
It was hard. It's hard. I guess I felt like it was hard in a blended family because your kids came and went, and so it was hard with.
but it did help.
It did help. No, it did help, and especially in that beginning transition of a blended family, I think it did help, and the kids did have fun with it. But we didn't stick with it.
No, we only did it for a couple months.
Yeah, we did for a couple months, and I think it did help. But find something in your family that will work. But I think being grateful is huge. I mean, what's that saying that I have on the wall over there? Do you remember what it says? The secret to having it all is knowing that you already do.
Yep. That's very good.
So
I remember I came home from work and that was on the wall and I went, wow, that's, yeah, awesome.
So basically stop looking for what you don't have. Stop, just see
Be
the
grateful
good.
for what you have.
Yeah, see the good in what you have.
Yeah, we
And-
talk attitude of gratitude,
Yep.
Sorts of things like that.
But it's big. Even, I even said this to you a couple weeks ago when we sat down for dinner, and it was that week that I was trying really hard to make dinner every
remember
night.
that.
And we sat down there a couple nights in a row. Nobody said anything about being, thanks for making dinner, Paige, or I don't even care if they don't have to say it's good, but I still want the, they need to be grateful that I
Right.
made the dinner. And so I said something to you that night, and I said, you need to be the catalyst for this.
And absolutely. So it's an attitude that you have in your whole house that the parents really can lead.
Right.
Right. And you can be grateful for small things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be big things.
No. And the reason that you were like, oh yeah, I didn't realize I wasn't doing that because You usually do the
I
cooking.
know we do the cooking. So,
And so-
I was like, this is awesome. I
I know.
don't have to, but I didn't.
And I'm the one that usually sits there and says, "This is fantastic. Thank you so much." And the kids then pipe in and they say,
Yep.
and you weren't used to doing that.
No,
So yeah. And then the next night you said, "Oh, thank you for dinner," and the kids piped in.
and the kids piped in. So example is a key here.
Yes, very, very key. But yes, being grateful for what you have, seeing what you have that it's important.
Yeah.
It's really important.
This is almost the opposite of envy, isn't it?
Yes.
Because if you're envious, that means that you want something that you don't have.
Right.
Right. So if you're grateful, then you want something that you do have.
Right.
You like.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have goals. I mean,
Well, that's different than envy,
right.
though.
If you're divorced and you want to be married one day, right? And you look at your friends and go, "Oh, look, they have this great husband," and you can still want those things, but not to the detriment of you're depressed and not functioning because all you can focus on is what you don't have. So focus on what you do have in that moment. Like I'm with my kids. This is all fantastic. Focus on what's good in your life at that moment while you're still striving for what you eventually want to have.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, look for silver linings. How is this different than being grateful?
This is hard when you're going through something difficult to look for the silver lining. So what this means is basically you're looking back at something. You're looking at something hard that you went through, some challenge, some trial, and seeing, what, I know that really stunk, and that, like our divorces, that was horrific.
Yeah, it was
awful. But what good came out of it? That's what a silver lining is.
Okay. I like that. So
Right.
for us, a silver lining of our divorces, we got to be married.
We have, we have each other. We have a great blended family.
There's been bumps and bruises
course.
along the way, but
Of course.
and I also think another silver lining from the divorce, at least for me, was more self-awareness of who I am.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean that to me was a lesson that I learned.
Right.
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 To not plow forward all the time and be intense.
Right.
But to calm down, slow down a little bit. And
Right. So silver lining is
self-aware.
something you really it's really when you're out of your trial to look back and go, okay, now that's, the majority of that's
So, but
over.
what about when you're in your trial or the tough time that you're going through? You need to realize that there is probably a silver lining in the future.
Yes, but if someone comes up to you and says, there's a silver lining, you want to punch them in the face,
Yeah, that is so true.
right? You know what I mean?
Look at the bright side. The
Yeah.
bright side what?
The bright side,
I lost my family, my job, and my house.
Right,
Well, what's
yeah.
so happy about that?
Yeah, woohoo!
Oh, you get to stay with mom and dad. Woo, yay.
So, yeah. And like I said, in the moment, it's hard to find those silver linings. But it goes back to number one. Look for what you're grateful for, not the silver linings just yet.
Right. But realize that there might be later on.
Absolutely.
And no one can tell you what that silver lining
Nope.
is. It's something you got to figure out yourself.
It is. And I used to always say, I wanted this magic 8-ball to just say, you know what? You're going through a really tough time right now.
But in 3 months at 12
Yes.
o'clock,
even in
it will
a
all
year,
be over.
you know what I mean? Like even in a year, things are going to be different, and this is what it's going to look like. But you don't know when you're going through these hard times. You don't know what life is going to look like,
and you don't know what the endpoint's going to be like.
right? And so
I
it's
thought
so
I knew
scary.
when I was, going through hard times in my marriage. I thought, all right, I can withstand this. I can get through this.
Right.
I know that I will. In the end, everything will work out fine. Right. I'm doing everything that I need to. Did not work out the way I expected.
Right.
So that's the other thing about the silver lining. Realize that there will be one, but don't plan what it is before it's there.
Yeah. My silver lining is this.
Oh yeah, no, it's not.
Right.
Right. It might not be. So you got to kind of let things happen, which goes into the next one. Don't give up.
Don't give up. That's huge.
Endure through things.
And that's really important because especially if you are in a divorce situation and you have kids that need you, you can't give up. You can't. And when we say don't give up, I don't mean like, oh, people are going to go commit suicide, which hopefully, very few people get to that point in their life.
If you
That's
do,
awful.
go talk to someone right
Absolutely.
away.
If you feel like that's where you're headed, please talk to someone. But when I say don't give up, I mean, don't just go, you know what? I've messed up. Everything's messed up. Life is messed up. And that's just the way
I'm
it's
just
going
going to float through life now.
Yep.
and
Yep.
not set goals anymore.
Right.
I'm just going to just take whatever life gives me.
Right.
That's
Right.
no way to live.
Don't do that. You're going to have days where you do that for sure. There are days where you're going to lay in bed and just go, I can't do it today. I can't. I can't get through this day. I'm just going to lay in bed. You're going to have those days, and that's okay, but don't let it be more than a day, because people need you. I feel like that's what got me through a lot, is the knowing that I was needed by my kids. That actually helped me.
And it may
through a
not
lot.
just be your kids that need
Right?
you.
No.
You've got family, you've got friends that are worried about you and love you very much, and they need you too.
Right.
You have value.
Right. So yeah, don't give up.
They also said in that article, often the greatest doubts occur just before a breakthrough.
Yeah, that was kind of a profound statement.
Yeah, I think I kind of, that happened to me.
Right.
Right. I was like, and then boom, all of a sudden
Something changed.
something changed. It was
Right.
like, wow.
But if you're in these dark depths and someone says, "Oh, well, oftentimes the greatest doubts occur right before your breakthrough," you're going to, like I said, punch them in the face. But it's hard
Paige
to hear
is a
those
very
things.
violent person. I just want to tell you
I
guys
just
that.
want everyone to know I've never punched you in the face.
No, she hasn't.
I have not. I'm actually not violent. But you do have those feelings when someone says something very Pollyanna and you're in such a dark
Look
place.
on the bright side.
Yeah, and you're just like, seriously? Let me wallow for a minute. Give me a minute. But
Or, they sing you that ant song. The ant that can't, that's carrying the
Yes.
rubber tree plant. Come
Yeah.
on, sing it with me, baby.
No, I'm not going to. But do you know what I mean? Like, you need a minute to wallow, but that minute can't last.
No,
long.
because then what happens, what you're doing is you're feeding that depression that's coming in, and that's when you get sick.
Right.
Both emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Right.
It plays a toll on you, right? So you've got to find a balance. You've got to heal yourself.
Right.
And healing yourself may include taking a break, but not all the time.
Right.
Right.
Right. But
that's
you're gonna have
dangerous.
You're gonna have moments where you're just gonna go, you know what? I just need to stay in this bed for a few hours, and that's okay. That's okay. Give yourself those few hours.
And then move on.
Get your booty up. Get your booty up. All right, next one. Look at the big picture.
What big picture?
Well, sometimes you don't know what the big picture is, right?
No, you
Like,
don't.
You don't know what the small picture is. You don't know what any picture is.
So, like, after your divorce, looking at the big picture, what does that look like for you?
For me, I wanted my kids to be okay. I wanted to know that my kids were going to be okay. Like, I wanted to see in the future and go, my kids are going to be, they're going to be more resilient after this, but they're going to be okay and they're going to know they're loved. That was what, and I wanted to, remarry and have that all be,
But your big picture
delightful.
now changes, possibly, especially after a divorce.
Yep.
What you had planned before, your big picture may change.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. My big picture before my divorce was, at the time my husband and I were renting and, we're hoping to maybe one day buy a house. You know what I mean? I mean, that was our big picture. Maybe one day go on a vacation with our kids somewhere fun. That was that big picture. And then all of a sudden that's the least of my worries is buying a house. The least of my worries is going on vacation.
So when you go through something pretty dramatic, it doesn't even have to be divorce. You have the opportunity to reform what your big picture is and think about that.
Yes.
And set those dreams. You need those dreams and those goals, that vision that you have.
Absolutely. And it talked about after you go through this traumatic thing that you're going through, what are your new goals? What, you can create a new situation for yourself. What do you want to be?
So what if you don't create a new situation for yourself?
I think then you're going to be stuck in not a good spot.
Yeah. So you've got to change something.
You've got to change something.
Right. Maybe it's your attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's where you live. Maybe it's where you work. Maybe it's, you know what I mean?
It could,
who knows?
Hopefully not changing your spouse. That would be bad.
Right.
Right. Because that just adds to it.
Right. But yeah, what are the new experiences that you want to have? What are the new goals that you want to have? What's the big picture? And talk about those things. You and I have talked about those things.
Yeah, we have.
What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? What,
Some people might call this like a midlife crisis. I'm going to change everything, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, don't go have a midlife crisis and blame it on Where's the Lemonade.
No.
Right? That's different than...
No, and I feel like this is, as you're coming out of your crisis, you're seeing, what do I need to change and what are my...
So I'm not in that same rut that I was in during the Depression or during the hard time.
And then you can kind of, recreate yourself a little bit and go, okay, now I want to do this and now I want to do that. And
so now this is a good time to start looking at new hobbies, changing yourself. What kind of person do I really want to be?
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to be a depressed person. I don't want to be a sad person.
Right.
So what are you going to do to get past that?
Yep. The next one, and we actually both really liked this one.
Yeah, this is pretty quick.
Discouragement is just a trick. And when I first saw that heading, I was like, what does that mean? And it says that it tricks you into dwelling into the very place that you want to leave.
Yeah, because...
And I was like, whoa, that was really profound. I'm going to say that again. It tricks you into dwelling into the very place you want to leave. So if you are in a dark, dark place and you're so discouraged by everything going on around you,
you focus on that.
You focus on that.
Yeah, I can compare that to like work. For me, I was in a group that was dysfunctional, not having fun there. And I was fixated on it all the time.
You certainly were. I felt so bad.
And I was stuck there. So that discouragement got me stuck in that place.
Right.
Right. And it wasn't getting any better.
Right.
My fault or not, doesn't matter. It just wasn't getting any better. So I kept dwelling on that, and dwelling on that. And I was starting to get kind of blue and
you
down.
Were. Yep.
So, I wish I would have known this beforehand, right?
Right.
Discouragement is tricky. It's a negative emotion.
Right.
You want to push past that as fast as you can.
Well, and you start thinking, maybe I am what, all these bad things that are happening. Maybe this is the sum of me, right? And that's definitely not where we want to be.
No, in fact, it said in there, you need to learn how to push beyond where you currently are, that your destination is far greater than your current situation.
Yep.
Right, in that discouragement.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible. So if you guys are feeling discouraged, you need to tell that stuff to go away. You need to look for that you are better than the discouragement is telling you.
Right.
And get away from dwelling on that. And I finally did, right?
Yes.
I switched jobs, right?
Yep.
So switching jobs, I no longer dwell on that at all.
Right.
The discouragement's gone.
Well, and sometimes, we have to admit, what? Maybe we've made some mistakes, right? We've made some mistakes.
Absolutely.
We're in this situation because of mistakes made by others around us, things out of our control, things in our control. That's fine. Take ownership of it, right?
And make some changes.
And it's okay to go, you know what? I blew this. I really blew this, but let's go forward and, be positive and get out of this dark place. Right. So yeah, I like that one.
All right, next one. Keep reading positive things.
Yeah, I almost didn't want to put this one on there.
Yeah, but it does make sense.
I know, but you know me. I'm not let's read the daily quote that's going to keep us I'm just not that girl. I'm not
it's true,
I'm not a chicken soup for the soul kind of person. I'm not. I feel like that's all cheesy. And
it's true. And you even admitted this is true. When you were on the blended family forums, they started getting you down.
They did. So I joined all these Facebook groups of blended families and step families.
To get ideas for our podcast.
Stepmoms and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't been on it in probably a month because they were bringing me down. No,
they were bringing you down because people were just on there venting and talking about their horrible situations so that people could validate how they were feeling.
And I understand there is value in that to go, you know what? I need to reach out, especially if you don't know anybody in your situation. So you want to reach out to people that go, look, I'm in this situation. Are you? And then when you've got 100 people going, yes, I'm in that situation.
Yeah, you're in a horrible situation.
Right.
Yeah, he's a jerk. Or
yes.
She's a jerk, whatever.
Right. So I can see where people need to do that, right? And then you go, oh, I'm not alone, right? Because that's what it's about. I'm not alone.
Right.
But.
And.
Yeah.
Don't negate that, because those forms have a place.
They do.
But that's not the only thing that you can sink all your time into. If you're surrounding yourself by just negativity all the time, it will bring you down.
It will. And when you're just reading these and you're reading and focusing on these, oh, let me see who else made a comment on my thing today. And you can get stuck and it can bring you down. And reading those, like I said, I joined it for our podcast. You didn't even know that till today.
No, it's the first time you said.
I'm not on Facebook ever anyway, because I find Facebook brings me down in general. And I've learned that as a person in my depression, it's better for me not to be on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm not a big presence on social media. But I was reading those, and you get sucked in, and you've read one, and all of a sudden it's an hour later, you've read 20. And there's rarely a positive one in there, which people don't share their successes. They want other people to go, yeah, I'm in that situation.
They want them to validate their bad feelings that they're having, and why they're getting divorced, or why it's so tough. Yeah. Which I understand. But you also have to include positive things with that.
Right.
So we talked about what positive things could you add in that place, right? So whether it's a good feel documentary or something good that you're reading on the internet, but news is rarely good.
Right.
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 So you got to find positive things that keep, building up those positive feelings that you're having.
And some people, it may be a chicken soup for the soul for them.
It might be.
I can't do that. But for some, I know a lot of people that do, right? They read these inspirational quotes every day. Whatever. They have an app that sends them something inspirational, a scripture or a quote every day. Yeah. But
finding something to replace that is important.
Yes.
Exercise is a good one.
Yep.
A hobby. Uplifting music.
Yes. That's where I have.
Music is big.
Music is big for me, and that can bring me up.
So no Mozart's Requiem. That doesn't bring you up.
That does not bring me up in any way.
See, I like depressing music sometimes. So
I do too. Not depressing, but you can be
melancholy music.
You can be in a melancholy mood. That's okay.
Yep.
So make sure that things are building you up, not
tearing you down. So let's talk about this. Even in a blended family forum that are out there, maybe you need to find, and maybe you need to be the one that says, hey, here are some positive things that are out there. Maybe you can help other people by listing positive things. Right. But also find some things outside of your situation to learn about.
Right.
If you're focusing, maybe you have a chronic illness. And if you spend all your time on the internet looking at that chronic illness, depression's going to set in.
Right.
So you need to find something outside of that as well.
Right.
And schedule a certain amount of time each day or each week that you're going to focus on that part of your life, the part that's really tearing you down. Yeah. Right? Don't give your whole life to it.
No, in fact, when I was at Education Week, one of the teachers said, give yourself 10, 15 minutes a day. If you're going through a really hard trial, give yourself 10 to 15 minutes a day to go just wallow, right? I'm giving myself 15 minutes right now to just cry,
complain,
write things down, vent to someone that you feel safe with, or just
don't do it on Twitter.
No, stay away from social media if you're in a bad way. Don't go there.
Maybe we can tell President Trump that same thing.
Yes, right? Stay away. Please stay away. Stop it. But give yourself a time limit and say, I'm going to give myself this many minutes to just let it all out and be negative and scream into my pillow, whatever. Give yourself that.
And then move on.
And it even said, if someone, whatever, so say you're going through a divorce or you have a chronic illness and you see someone later in the day and they go, oh, how are you doing? What's your situation with so-and-so? You say, sorry, I've already done my 15 minutes today on that subject. That's what it said. That you to go.
Well, because you need to tell other people, right? Yeah. That, look, I'm working through this.
Yes.
Now is not the time. Call me tomorrow between 8 and 9.
Exactly.
That's my wallow time.
That's right.
You will have my ear then.
If you really want to know, you have to,
I like that. That's
but
pretty
yes,
good.
it said set a specific time that will help you move on.
I like that. That's good. All right, next one. Have fun. Now, you're good at this.
This is what I sort of focused on when I was going through my divorce and with my kids.
What do you mean sort of focused on?
Well,
Skydiving?
Yeah, we did focus on, but I was so depressed, but I wanted my kids to not just remember this was a time where my mom was depressed. I wanted them to remember, you know what, she was depressed, but we still went and did some fun things. We went to baseball games. We went out to dinner. We went to the park. We went skydiving.
Yeah, they don't have to be expensive things.
No, we went to, the pet store. Just, hey, let's go, kids. Let's go do something fun for just, 45 minutes or an hour. Right. Let's, play a card game or.
So that fun that you have releases endorphins, right, which will help combat the depression that you're having.
Absolutely.
So this is very important that you
huge
that you do this.
Go see it. Go see a movie. Go see a funny movie.
And take some time out away from your problem, right? What is that? What about Bob? Take a vacation from your problems.
That's right.
Right?
No, seriously. When you go do this fun thing that you're going to do, you are not allowed to think about your problem. Nope. Don't look at your phone if people are texting you going, "How are you today?" No. Put your phone away. Have fun. Be in the moment. Whatever you're doing, and just let the problem go for an hour, for 2 hours, whatever you can, let it go and just have fun.
All right, so let's talk about some fun things that you can do.
Skydive.
Skydive, if you're crazy. Right, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. I don't understand that.
That is something my kids will always remember.
Yes, they will. Yeah. But simple things like going to the park.
Having a picnic.
Going on a walk, riding a bike. Going to a lake nearby and maybe canoeing or paddleboarding.
Seeing a matinee movie that's a funny, cute movie.
Outside of the ordinary. Do something outside of the ordinary.
Yes, go get an ice cream at,
Go to the library.
Yes.
Go walk around the mall.
Yep.
Don't go spend your way through fun.
Don't. And
that could be very bad.
That can be bad. And that is something, I think that we've read an article about that too, right? That women... Especially, right?
They said women, especially women, yeah.
It releases endorphins for us when we not for everyone, but I know it does for me.
Yeah, especially
right?
shoes.
Yeah, shoes, clothes. In fact, today you said, can you stop at the store and pick up a carbon monoxide alarm? And I said, I don't know why you sent me to Target.
He came back with
I had some cute earrings. I was like, look at those cute earrings. But it doesn't. They were $7, so I felt like that was okay. But you got to set limits if it's a problem for you.
Yes, and it can be. It can be a problem. So be careful there.
But yeah, find what that thing is that you're doing that you just go, oh man, that was so much fun, and. As long as it's a safe activity and make sure you're doing things with your kids and with your friends.
Yeah, don't replace your depression with a bad habit.
No. And I've known people, I had a very good friend that was getting divorced, and she was all of a sudden had all these new girlfriends, and they were at, bars, and you know what I mean? She was neglecting her kids during this time. But she was just like, oh, I need to find me. And no, you've still got these people that depend on you. You can't go crazy. Focus on the big picture. Your kids are the big picture.
Yeah.
That's the big picture right there. Your family is the big picture.
Absolutely. Okay, our lemonade moment of the week is us having fun with the kids, doing something outside of our normal comfort level.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
We can put it that way. There was a Renaissance fair here in Folsom. And we like to go and support the community. We do.
I like to do things different.
Yep. So
this was different.
We saw this and we were like, and the kids were like, oh, that sounds interesting. And we're like, you know what? Maybe we'll go. And so we did. And we took one of the neighbor kids with us who really wanted to go. And it was different.
It was a lot of fun. The kids had a lot of fun.
I thought it was actually a blast.
It was. Yeah.
It was.
There were people there that we normally wouldn't talk to. Because, this is their life. They're like totally into this, and they do Renaissance fairs all summer long.
Yep.
And then I don't know what they do in the wintertime. Maybe they go to school or have a different job.
They're a little different.
A little quirky.
Right? They're a little quirky. They all seem super nice, very loud, and You know what I mean?
They were all theater people.
Yes, they're all theater people, which, love theater people. But this is what these people are doing every single weekend. Yeah. And so they're very into it. It's their life. It's their life.
Yeah.
In fact, Madeline was scared there was this one little tent
of gypsies.
Of gypsies. And so they're out there dancing. We were like, the gypsies, all they do is dance all day. And while Madeline and I were walking by, the lady was looking at her and going like this. She was like doing like, come here. And Madeline's like, they're going to take me. The gypsies are going to take me.
So all those years that we told the kids when they were naughty, we're going to sell them to the gypsies, sunk in. Paid off. So I'm glad Madeline didn't run away with the circus or the gypsies.
Yeah, she was scared. She was like, no. But no, it was fun. We watched, a falconry show and
some Renaissance dancing and played some games.
Oh, those games were super fun and had some good food.
Saw the Queen of England.
Yeah. Yep. She was walking around. But no, it was, I love that we did something out of our normal comfort zone. It was super fun. I don't know that we need to do it every year. But
no, but the kids will remember that because it was different.
Yep, it was. If you like today's episode,
give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, Google.
And head to Facebook and like us.
And check out our blog at where'sthelemonade.org.
Where you can leave questions and comments.
But most of all,
go out and make some lemonade.
You betcha, baby.
On our next episode,
we're going to talk about how over-decorating a house can bring joy to your household.
Oh, wow. You did put a positive spin on that.
Oh, yes, I did.